Live. We are live. We are direct with Steph. 18K week. I got the balloons. Speak to me, sister. We're celebrating you. Let's get those balloons out of the way. we're celebrating you. It's the first time I bought balloons for an interview, sister. How are you?
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I feel so special. Thank you.
No, fantastic. Because the last time we actually did one of these was when you did an $8,500 in a week. So just update in terms of with the whiteboard method, like what has changed in terms of have you continued doing more challenges? Like what's led, explain this 18K week and how it's happened. Yeah, first of all. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really is just, serving from soul and really providing a lot of value in my containers. I like doing challenges, and I have actually brought the whiteboard method into my challenge, which I feel like has created even greater value and greater service and impact. And it's been amazing to see what shows up, using the whiteboard method for one person as an example that speaks to many. And then, being able to just talk with some of these women one-on-one who are just ready. They're just so ready. And so, some people need a little time and then they're just ready to jump in. And so it's sort of I think the momentum is building, and now we're just riding the wave of momentum.
Okay, that's absolutely fantastic. You mentioned in terms of using the whiteboard in your challenges, are you doing like what we call an ikigai? Like what's working visually to help people?
Yeah.
Are you forming their visions for them? Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, I think, the challenge I'm running currently, we're really looking at like developing your clarity and then what needs to be cleared. And so I am doing we call it the 4 T's, like looking at what's your target, looking at like the time it's taken. And it's just so incredibly valuable to look at like, where am I at? Like, is this my time? What am I looking to create in my life that's actually priceless? What's been working for me? What hasn't been working? So having that visual is, especially when you're on a group call, is like incredible. I think you just say it goes out into the ether, but when you can see it, then you can see the impact of the time maybe we've taken without taking aligned action. I use the ikigai as well. And I think one of my favorite pieces of the spiritual ikigai is looking at what we would do if we couldn't fail. I feel like that question really is so powerful energetically to help us lift out of fear and into the action that we want to be taking.
No, that is absolutely brilliant. So let's hop into a couple of quick fire questions. I've got some questions that people have wanted to know, if that's all good.
Sure.
Yeah. So first of all, when we're looking at your particular result, like what specifically in terms of the 18K week, like people want to know maybe on the back end of things, because the challenges like worked quite well. So did the whiteboard almost just seal the deal at the end? How important is the whiteboard at the end? Because it's great to add value before, and that's what we can do on challenges in the DMs. But at the end, how has it added value there?
Well, I think for me, it's created a system that, as I move through the progression of the whiteboard method, I'm also able to share my package with everyone in a certain way, which is also showing the evidence. I think one thing that I was missing is the evidence. And so as part of the whiteboard method, I'm actually showcasing my method through the results my clients have received. And it's visual. And when you see the evidence, it becomes, I think, that sense of trust. Like if it works for them, it could work for me. And then also seeing that laid out through the program they are looking to sign up for. And so, I've had some people, because I have a group program, and they've said, you know what, I really want to work one-on-one with you. And so they're just bypassing the lower ticket program to go. They don't want it. They want the one-on-one. And so it's been really just nice to see how much value is being shown and the trust that we're creating through it.
Okay, no, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost as though if you tell the story of someone else, then people can almost say, okay, I had a similar struggle there.
Yes.
And I want to get a similar result. So as they say, facts tell, stories sell, right? Which is the most important thing. Now, I want to come next to this very monumental, because we didn't cover this in the last session, of course, because it hadn't happened yet. But your 20K month, and you know, it was so good that we actually had to create. We created a masterclass on it. Like, what did this do for you in terms of this landmark? Like, how important was this landmark to kind of hit that 20K month?
You know, I think it's interesting because I'm a manifesting coach, and that's something that I'd set out to do at the beginning of the year. And I think that I really just I didn't have my program set up in a way to accentuate its value. And so I think in working with you, it really helped me to, you know, create that program that has the value and holds the value. And what I'm seeing is people, it's like a no-brainer. Like when people are ready, they just know they want it, and they're ready to sign on. And so I think just literally having the offer created the income.
Yeah, that's ultimately it, right? And I know that we've spoken about different packages, and I can feel the momentum. You know, people are talking about you, you know, people are wanting to work with you in my container. You know, you've got clients from my container, which is the collective, right? We all have different strengths and different angles. And I hope from this, you get many more clients, much more abundance to you, 100%. And, you know, tell me how this has felt, like this most recent chapter in terms of the balloons. I believe I did sing "Isn't She Lovely" to you on Sunday, which is probably a mentor singing to you, right? Like, you know I'm not the greatest singer. I'll stick to teaching and rapping. But tell me, like, how important was this? Like, being able to see, hey, look, did the 20K month, but we're able to collapse time and step into maybe, if I want, maybe a 20K week, and then eventually a 20K day. Like, all of these things are possible. So, like, how has that felt, that step into, like, let's make this happen?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels very confident, and it feels like a no-brainer. Like it's funny, I set out to do it, and then here we are. It's like, oh wait, we did it. Like it's happened. So I think there's now a feeling of consistency and confidence, and not coming at the first of the month like, well, what's going to happen? How is this going to happen? Like, I literally have the method. I know how it's going. I literally know how it's going to happen in advance. I have so much less like stress as an entrepreneur than I was having. And I'm ready to progress to like the next stage of serving my clients at that next higher level.
Yeah, and that's to have the one-to-one, maybe at a more premium price, like to sort of kind of step into that element of things. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. And I have to say, it means a lot to me. Like, I love the hype. Like, you're the best at just like hyping me up and celebrating. It feels really good to celebrate these things.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's enough doom and gloom in the world, right? And it's like, we speak about the different characters, the fearful Fiona, the serving Susie's, the joyful Julia. I really feel like you're stepping into limitless Lara. It's like, hey, look, what can we create? Like, who needs me? Is it a billionaire? Oprah, where you at? You know, Jay-Z, Jay-Z, where you at? I'll call your wife, Beyonce, where you at? Taylor, I know you're making billions from these tours. You're stressed out. Like, where you at? But it's like, why not? Like, because everybody has a problem.
That's true.
Yeah. Next question is, people worried about investing in the wrong mentor. I'm not sure if you felt this a little bit. Like, people think, oh my God, I've spent so much money on X, Y, and Z. It's like,
And I've heard people and they haven't gotten results. And I knew for me, when we met, I feel like the missing piece for me was in what we could call like the sales call, right? Because you know, I was noticing certain containers, when people would really get to know me, they were just ready to work with me immediately. But some people that were coming through like other places, like maybe YouTube, where they'd had some time to like binge my stuff, maybe there was something missing. And I really feel like what you presented for me was like the ticket. It was the key to unlock that for myself, such that, you know, when I was able to go through the whiteboard method in that sales call, it was like a no-brainer. Again, the visuals made it a no-brainer, right? I was creating, people were like, oh my gosh, like this, it literally is worth $1,000. I mean, it's priceless. Like what someone receives literally in that free call is worth so much. And then the second part for me is that it's implementation. Like we very quickly help me implement my own whiteboard method. You help review it for me. You help me review some calls to see like how it was going. Like that to me, that high touch, like immediately within the first couple of weeks, like was everything to kind of like light that fire, get it moving so that I could be successful. And then what I love about our group calls is that we practice things that are so common. Everyone, you can't tell me a coach that doesn't get these, people are going to take a minute. They're going to want to talk to their husband. They're going to, there might be some objections, and it's very normal. And I think the idea that, we're already in the coaching space. If someone's talking to us and they're thinking about it and they want it, it's not so much like, well, how am I going to get the sale? It's like, I'm already serving this person to make the best decision for their highest good. What's going to help them to make that best decision for their highest good, whether it's working with me or not. I really want to be clear that we're having that conversation. So I feel the confidence that we get through that practice, like literal, not just hearing someone talk about it or hearing someone say, if your program's super good, you're going to, take care of the objections in advance. Like, no, we're still going to get like that. I haven't done anything like this in any other program. And I feel like it's been like night and day.
Let's lay this out and look. And what I like about this is that it's not just like an interview. We speak like we practice what we are preaching in terms of the implementation. Now, literally an hour ago, this is what we did together as a collective. So why don't we hit a quick demonstration of this? So just to explain to everyone, this prospect is wanting to make 8K. They're stuck. Their challenge is doing hourly coaching, and 1 year could be worth 100K for them, and they would spend the money going on holiday, refurbishing their house is priceless. Their trigger right now is impact and power. They've tried Facebook Lives and doing things in terms of engagement. Nothing is working. So that column is blind. Nothing's in that column. But key thing here, Stephanie or whoever the coach is able to give a data-driven offer, qualified leads, and have a feminine sales touch. So, for example, what we see on the left-hand side are language patterns. So we're just going to do a quick demonstration. So I'm going to say it's too expensive. And Stephanie's going to work her magic in terms of how she might use some language patterns to maybe help some people. Stephanie, great program, 5K, but at the moment it's just too expensive.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it is. It's very high quality. It is expensive. And I'm just curious, what's more expensive? Is it more expensive to wait and not make that 100K because you said you're stuck? Or is it more expensive to actually use 8K to make 100K?
Oh, wow.
Or sorry, use 5K. The program's 5K. Not even 8K. We're only using 5K.
Yeah. Good. Let's use another language pattern. So the first pattern she used was number 1. What's more expensive? Hit another one.
Yeah, I remember when I was, looking to invest in a coach the first time, and we actually were in debt at that time. So to someone else, it might have sounded crazy. How on earth would you invest? But I knew I was going to bank on myself and investing in myself with a data-driven offer that I don't have, with qualified leads that I don't have. I don't have these. I didn't have these things. When I got these things, it was simple to make 8K.
Okay, fantastic.
So that's something that worked for me. And I'm just curious, if you really lean into, your abundant self, your highest self, the self that believes in you, what would she do?
Oh, brilliant. So we're speaking about, correct me if I'm wrong here, we're not selling our program, but we're selling them on their desires and identity. Or would you add anything there?
If someone's coming to you and they're actually having that conversation where they're really like wanting to do it, and maybe there's some hesitancy, right? They literally want the transformation. Like, I think what we're doing is we're standing for their transformation and helping them get out of that little part of the mind that wants to say but or overthink or what if. The little one, like you get excited, you're like, oh, I see it, and then I don't know. So it's just helping helping you see and reflect back to the client what they are seeing and saying for themselves.
Oh, brilliant. So we are mirroring back to them in terms of in their own words, and we are not selling them on what we want. We're not saying, hey, we haven't got commission breath. Look, I want to make the 5K, but it's like, what do you want? Correct?
Yeah, it's literally hearing exactly what they say they want and, showcasing to them what they've stated that they're here for, what they've come for.
Brilliant. Two more questions. The first one is this. Why is this the best process for heart-centered coaches and women to enroll high-value clients, premium clients? Tell me, why is it the best?
I mean, I think for a lot of women, I hear a lot of women say, well, I don't want to be salesy, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be high pressure. I don't know what it's like to be a man, so I can't really speak to that. But I do know that, these questions, they are really heart-centered, and it feels very relaxed to be in a conversation where I can serve someone and I can, provide them with an opportunity to stand for their highest selves. So I'd say that to me, that's why it's the best process.
Yeah. And what would you say to anyone thinking about potentially using visual sales rather than the old fashioned? And here's the difference, right? We're in this conversation right now, but the old type of system of sales calls, we move from this to this. Very combative. So just like really quickly, like what is the difference between the old school type of
Well,
sales calls and this? Yeah. What's the
that
difference?
visual is the nexus between you and me, right? We've co-created it. We share it. And so, you might say something and it kind of goes in one ear out the other. It doesn't stick, right? And so if I've told you something like I want to make 100K and I'm stuck, I might it's harder to have a conversation around that if it flies out the other ear, right? When I can see it, I've literally said it to you, then we can really do something together with that.
Tell me, what is the most important thing that you picked up using the whiteboard process? Like someone might be thinking, oh my God, like these numbers are going out. Stephanie's succeeding. She's doing all of these things. They might feel a bit intimidated. What one piece of advice can you give that might be able to make it seem, hey, look, you can do this as well? What's the one piece of advice that you wish that you might have had? What is that?
I think just leaning into following the process, I really feel like makes this so much simpler. And also it really stands out from the market as a whole. There's so much noise out there. There's so many different ways to do things. Like when we can see it visually, because as you've explained to me, and I, as a teacher, right? Like we remember, we retain so much, we gain so much more through even an image. I think what stands out for me is, I didn't have the evidence laid out of my client successes. And when I have that now and someone can see that within themselves, they can see how my process has helped someone in a very similar way that I can help them. They can see how investing the 5K will make them the 8K. They can see how investing the 5K will lead them to the 100K. It makes sense.
Brilliant. And finally, how can people get in contact with yourself? I know you're doing some great stuff with energetics. This video is going to go out to different places. So how can people get in contact with you in terms of helping? Yeah.
Sure. You can just message me on Facebook and we'll set up a call together and we'll see how we can help you break through energetically if you are feeling stuck.
Yeah, brilliant. And I think the amazing thing is linking all of these things together. I didn't actually realize the whiteboard was an energetic tool until we met. I thought, hey, what's Stephanie doing with this energetic stuff? And I binged for about a month or two, and I came up with the Fearful Fiona, Serving Susie.
Oh.
By the way, how important has that been? Like looking at people, oh, is that a Fearful Fiona there in scarcity? Is that a Serving Susie, maybe undercharging? Is that a Joyful Juliet in abundance? Or is that Limitless Lara who sees no barriers to anything? Like, how important has that breakdown been?
Well, I think it really helps us to understand like where someone is at and if they are coming into our world. I know for me, like I work through clarity, I work through helping clear. So if someone is in that fearful state, like they can come to me and we can do the clearing work, we can do the hypnosis. It's really just sort of an identifier of where they're at energetically. And they can get to the limitless space. It's just like, what are we going to do to help you get there?
Stephanie, you have been amazing. More blessings, more abundance to you. Thank you ever so much
Thank you.
for your
You
time.
too.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you so much.
you.
Thank you.